Hi guys, the topic which I want to discuss with you people is thoracic appendages. You must get familiar with the term of appendages. Any extension from the body is called appendages. Our focus is only the thoracic appendages, not on the head appendages, not on the abdominal appendages. A typical insect leg, the appendages which originated from the thorax are the majorly legs. The structure of the typical leg is mentioned here, are represented here. For example, one of them is a coxa, that is the terminal part of the legs. That coxa has smaller inferior region and the larger posterior region, that is called the meron. Articulating this coxa, articulating by ball and socket joints with the thorax. There is a ball and socket joint with the joint which can move in a multiple direction. There is a terminal part of the coxa is like a ball and is fitted into the socket of the thorax. It may be monocondylic, that is the rotatory movements. It may be dicondylic. It may be permitted on the back and forth movements. Trochanter, articulate with the coxa, usually form immovable attachment with the femur. This trochanter immovable movement with the femur, it is a particular structure which I will mention you in the next slide. The next two segments of the leg called the femur and tibia, both are the longest. The tarsus, which is derived from the single segment, is usually divided into individual tarsomeres. Number of tarsomeres vary from 1 to 5. It is used as a taxonomic tool because the classification of insects in the different groups depends upon the number of the tarsomeres. Some have 1, some 2, and other are 5. They can be categorized on the basis of this number of tarsus. Basal segment is often longer than others. This is called the basitarsus. Our structure distal to the tarsus are collectively called peritarsus. Distal to the tarsus collectively called the peritarsus. Peritarsus consists of a single claw or a pair of claws and one or more pads called the pulvillus, bulbous lobe-like, aurolium or impodium or bristles. All these structures are present at the peritarsus. I can show you in this diagram. This is the aurolium pad. This is the aurolium. This is the claws, and this one is called apodium or apodemes. This is a tarsomere. Look here. This is a trochanter. This is a trochanter. It is the immovable section. This is a coxa. This coxa is a basal part of the insect leg which can rotate with the thorax, which is directly connected with the thorax. It is a largely bulky structure, greater diameter, and this is the femur. Femur and tibia are the elongated structure. This is called the articulated spines. This is the whole structure. The distal part of the tibia is called the tarsus. This is the tarsus. Tarsus terminate in the peritarsus, and the peritarsus contain the claws, and the tarsus also contain the pad-like structure which is called the pulvillus or the pulvilli. This is the typical structure of the insect leg. It is also represented here in a very clear way. This is the coxa. This is a trochanter. Trochanter is present located between the femur and the coxa. It is a immovable structure. This one is a tibia. This is the tibial spur, and this is the this structure is called the tarsus, and the tarsus is contained tarsomeres. This tarsomere is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the terminal part of the tarsomere is the tarsal claws. This is a multiple spines. It also represents, this is a coxa, it is a ball-like structure. This is a trochanter, which is the present between the femur and the coxa. This is the tibia, this is the tibial spurs, and this is a tarsus, and last one is the claws. This is the structure of the typical insects. Like you can familiarize what is the coxa, trochanter, femur, tibia, spur, peritarsus, tarsus claws, and what will be their function we will discuss in the later section. Locomotive modification of insect legs. How insect legs are modified. On the basis of locomotion, there can be multiple categories. Insect legs are locomotive function. Basic function is locomotion. Extremely modified to perform the varied functions. Immatures and adults have the thoracic legs. Apodous larvae, there is the legless larvae, there are the flies, maggots, larvae of flies called the maggots, and the adults, female scale insects have the no legs. It is represented here. This is the maggots in no legs. This is called the apodous larvae of the maggot, of the fly of the maggots. This is called the female scale insects. They have the no legs at all. And the locomotory modification of the insect legs, for the sake of modification, one of the broadest category is the ambulatorial, that is the walking legs. By this legs, insect can walk. It is only just modified for the walking purpose. Forelegs and the middle legs are the well adapted for walking. There is a forelegs and the middle legs. For example, grasshoppers. In the case of the grasshopper, this is the legs of the grasshopper. Here is the coxa, trochanter, femur, tibia, tarsus. This is the peritarsus. It is the aurolium, tarsus class, tarsomeres. All are the structure of the ambulatorial leg or the walking legs of the grasshoppers. And second one broad category is a cursorial. There is the walking and the running, not only the walking. It is also responsible for running. Typically dwell insects legs with long femur and the tibia. And tibia and the femur are both elongated structure and well adapted for walking and the running. Example of this category is cockroach. Periplaneta americana. At the leg of the cockroach, this is the coxa. This is the femur, tibia. These are the structure. This is the cursorial legs of the cockroach. Fossorial. There is a digging or the burrowing legs. Forelegs are highly modified with short, broad, and large toothless forefemora. Forefemora, there is the foremost part of the femur. Forefemora, foremost part of the femur. In this category, forelegs highly modified with short, broad, and toothed forefemora. The principal digging organ. This is the forefemora is the principal digging organs. Strong and stout tibia with distal tines. This is spikes, and that loosen to the soil. Heavily secularized claws adapted for digging. This category is represented in the mud crickets, nymph of the periodical cicada. It is represented here. This is the coxa and trochanter, femur, tibia, peritarsus, and the eutarsus, and the basic tarsus and terminal part is adapted in the form of the claws. The claws is used and responsible for digging the soil. Next one category is the raptorial, the predatory or the grasping legs. This is the responsible to grasp the prey for the predation purpose. Forelegs modify for grasping and holding the prey. Is a common in predatory insects, for example, like the praying mantis. Their forelegs are prehensile and suited for prey capturing and are of a little use in the locomotion. The term prehensile is also used for the neuromonkeys. The neuromonkeys have the long tail, and that is simply you can say the monkeys have the long tail, which is the prehensile. Through that tail, they can grip the twig and can be hang. And the prehensile structure is also present in the seahorse. This is also the prehensile structure, prehensile forelegs, which can grasp. The long and the mobile coxa facilitate and extend the reach to the capture the prey. This is a mobile coxa. The femora, the femur, are the grooved ventrally. Femora have the groove at this ventral position, and that they have possessed the spines on the two opposing sutures. Spiny tibia fit into the femoral grooves when the predators snap down the prey. I can represent in the diagram. Raptorial legs are also used to hold the female during the mating process, which can also hold or capture the females. Datiscus, Holoptic, genus of the predaceous diving beetles, and Coleoptera, that is the genus of the beetles. In assassin bugs, the fore and the mid tibiae have tibial pads or the fossorial spongiosi, and the tibial combs or the tibial spur with multiple arrangement of the hairs and the secretions, which is the capturing and holding the prey effectively. Look, this is the diagram is here. This is the spine, this is the tibia, this is spine, this is the hook, and this is the tarsus, this is the claw. When this is the bend down, femur and tibia, the bend down, the spines of each other become fitted into each other. Spines of femur fitted in the tibia, so it acts as a prehensile structure. Saltatorial, leaping or jumping legs. The trochanter is fused with femur. There is now clearly visible structure in this case. It is fused with the femur. Femora of the hind legs are enlarged and accommodate the muscle used in the jumping. Femora become elongated, femur become elongated, and have the very specific muscles, des muscle responsible for the jumping. In this case, condition exists in the grasshoppers, catechins, and there's the bush crickets. The long and the slender tibia are heavily sclerotized and become powerful, become stronger, and rigid to absorb the leaping force exerted against it. You can check here. This is the extensor and flexor muscles. Here is the femur, this is the tibia, this is the tarsus, this is the trochanter fused with the femur. Ultimate, this is the structure of the insect leg. Natatorial, the swimming legs. The legs of several aquatic insects, they become modified to facilitate the swimming. For example, aquatic bugs, adult predaceous diving beetles. The femur, number one femur, tibia, and the first fourth tarsomere are broad and flat. Three structures: femur, tibia, first fourth tarsomere broad and flat, and with marginal setae. These are functions like oars, or oaring structure in here, which participate for this structure. The femur, tibia, first four broad tarsomeres. Look here, this is the coxa, this is the femur, this is the tibia, all these are the tarsus, these are spine-like structure which act as a like oar. This is the original diagram of the diving beetle. Look here, this is the leg of this is a multiple spine. These spines are responsible for oaring structure, they are used in for swimming in the water. Scansorial, climbing, are the clinging legs. The legs are adapted for climbing or on or clinging the host in the ectoparasite. The ectoparasite, for example, lice, which is present in the human heads, especially they have the such type of the limb structure for climbing and clinging. Example, Melophaga, suborder of lice, or chewing lice, and Anopelura, and this is called the sucking lice. Both are suborders of the lice. Their tibia is so strong and have the thumb-like processes on one side, because the tibia is so strong and has the thumb-like structure. Tibia is so strong is structure. The large claws presses against the thumb. This is the, for example, this is a large claw. This is a presses against the thumb like this structure, and form efficient climbing on the clinging mechanism as a forefinger work against the thumb of the human while the gripping the objects. This is a clinging and the climbing structure. When this is the forefinger and this is a grip with the thumb, they form the gripping structure. This can grip the host hairs. Look here, this is the tarsus and this is the claw. They can grasp and hold the structure of the host. For example, if this is located in the ears, and this can grasp the ears. And other modifications. Apart from locomotive function, in Protura, legs are articulated in elevated position. Anterior to the body, probably sensory functions. This is the protrusions. These are the protruder structures. They have the head with outer antennae. This is the hexapodthorax, which is the 6 appendages. This is a segmented abdomen. Many insects used legs to groom parts of the body to remove the detritus, dead decaying matter or particle. When insects are entangled with some debris, they have to groom their body. They can remove all the debris which is attached to their body. For example, assassin bugs. The neuroturans and the diturans hold the antennae between the forelegs and draw them forward together towards the tip. Remember? Number 2, mosquitoes have the comb consisting of several rows of the setae at the distal end of the foretibia. The comb in the act of the scraping run along the proboscis antennae in rapid strokes. Legs of the insects may bear various specialized structure. For example, hind tibia of honeybees bear pollen baskets. This is from its name, it is represented. It is a pollen basket. It is used to collect the pollen from the flowers when these flies visit to the flowers. Or this basket is also called the corbiculum. These structures engage in the gathering the pollen from flowers when they visit. And the row of stiff spines on the inner side of the hind basitarsus serve as a pollen comb that collects the pollen from the mid-leg and the abdomen. This pollen comb will collect the pollen from the mid-legs and the abdomen. This is represented as the basitarsus, this is the tibia, this is a pollen basket represented here. This is a pollen press represented here. This is the pollen basket which carry the pollen towards the hive. A row of stout bristles at the distal end of the tibia and small plate fringed with the hair at the basal end of the basitarsus, collectively called the pollen packer. That is a stout row of bristles at the distal end of the tibia, small plates fringed with hairs at the basal end of the basitarsus, collectively called the pollen packer. That stored pollen in the corbiculum, pollen basket. Pollen in the corbiculum transported towards the hives. Exactly same quantity of the pollen by weight are arranged between the combs to maintain the balance in the flight. When the hind legs have the pollen basket, when they have to fly, they maintain their balance to enter the same weight pollens into the pollen basket to maintain the balance during the flights. It is an important adaptation of these insects. Forelegs of some species of diving beetles, which dive in the water, bears large suction discs on the tarsi. On tarsi has certain discs used for the grasping the female during the copulation because they have the suction disc. Suction disc is responsible to grip the female during the mating process. Spiny and closely placed legs of butterflies and damselflies are held together as a basket to scoop the prey during the flight. Their legs are not used for the locomotion. This is an important feature because their legs are adapted for other functions. This is not responsible in the locomotions. Here represented here, this is the structure of front leg of the diving beetle. Graphodorus zonatus. Dense clusters of tiny hairs form the number of suction cups. This is the dense tiny hairs form the suction cups, with which The male uses to attach the back of the female during the mating. This is a suction cups, which is a hair. Many hairs, in a large number of hairs, combine to form a suction cup. These suction cups are responsible, are used during the mating process to grip the female. The female cannot be escaped by these suction cups. Looking here, there are so many suction cups represented. Here at the terminal part, there is a claws. The hind femora of the certain species of short horned grasshoppers have short patch-like structure with which they rub the fore wings and produce a sound. They have the certain patch-like structure responsible for when they rub these wings, they produce a particular sounds. The long-horned grasshoppers and cricket possess oval auditory organs, that is a tympanum, at the base of each foretibia. This is the cricket's auditory organs. This is the wings, which are one of the file, other is the scraper. When both wings, file and scraper, rub on each other, in this way they produce, this is which is equivalent to teeth, they produce a sound. They produce a specified or the particular sound due to this rubbing process. It is also modified form of the appendages. Thank you very much.